everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, you guys. How are you for a Monday night? My name is Kathryn Kauffman, and I'm a psychic medium here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my every Monday night show. This is where we discover what and who we are in this journey called life. Hey to all you guys over here joining on Instagram, and hello to all you guys that are joining on Facebook. It's good to see you on a Monday night. The weather has been kind of blustery today. Not really cold, but just kind of raining on and off. So it's been just a little bit depressing. But we needed a break from the 90 plus degree weather. And I have my fall garden started. So I do have arugula and some romaine lettuce for fall that's coming up, and it needed a little bit of water. So I'm okay with the rain, I guess. If you want to support the stream, of course, those of you on Instagram can't see this, but on the restream, I have a QR code that you can scan on the screen if you want to send like $5 to help pay for equipment costs and streaming platforms charges and all that stuff that is involved in making a show, because otherwise it's all out of pocket and the pockets are getting thin, my friends. The pockets are getting thin. Let me go back to our QR codes, and I'll just put this up in the corner of the screen because as we go through the show, I want to give you some QR codes to some products that I have on Amazon that are involved in some of the steps that we're going to go through about selling property with energy blocks. Now, I do make a commission off of these QR codes, and it's going to be a big total of like 50 cents maybe. So it takes more effort to put the QR codes up than really what they're worth, but I like to provide this kind of stuff for you because it beats you trying to search around for it. Let me go to the chat and see if it's gonna work tonight. Let's see here. Oh, I need to check my Facebook page because that's where I can see the chat. And I think I may just rely on that particular chat. So, hello to Yasmin Jadoon. Good to see you tonight. And we'll see if anybody else tunes in for this evening. I'll tell you though, those of you guys that are realtors really need to watch the show. Or anybody who's had a property that doesn't seem like it's moving, or maybe you've had several sales that have fallen through. This is a great thing for you to watch because some properties just, no matter how much you work with them or how much you try to market them, nothing is working. And this is the type of property that I get calls on all the time. So through trial and error and just trying different things, I kind of have developed this way of selling difficult properties. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to go into is what causes the energy blocks. Why are certain properties more difficult than others to move? And what does that mean? Okay, let me see here. Let me change something because Facebook is blocking my stream. So I'm changing the status on it. So hopefully more of you guys can see this. Okay, so that, I don't know, maybe that'll change something on there. Hey to Arthea Morgan, good to see you tonight. And what's happening in Cincinnati? What's happening in Cincinnati? Hey to Kristen over here on Instagram and Killer Pandas. And Ralph Russell, good to see you guys. Okay, so let's talk about, what causes energy blocks. Well, some of the things that are the most prevalent that cause energy blocks are negative imprints on the actual property. So these are wavelengths of energy that are imprinted on the environment that are very difficult, sometimes impossible to get rid of. But I would say probably 80% can be gotten rid of. And then we have another maybe 20% that are just so ingrained or have been, imprinted in the environment for so long that you just can't get rid of them. Hey to Kayla, good to see you tonight. So negative imprints can be murders that happened on the property, suicides that happen on the property. Those leave very heavy energetic imprints. Somebody who's passed away on the property and wishes to stay there or linger there, that's a haunting. And so, but it still is a negative imprint because they're not moving on. They're not embracing their destiny and continuing on. So those can be very lonely and kind of negative. If you have a lot of fighting on the property prior to the people putting the house up for sale, so you have a lot of negativity from the arguments and the fights and maybe even a divorce that happened, and then the property is abandoned. So Arthea says, my shop we built a couple years ago has this. Awesome. Well, this should help you a lot. Some properties are actually cursed by other people, and those can be cursed by maybe business competitors, or jealousy and rage of someone who harbors disdainment for the person who owns the property. Arthea says the original house, the man died and they didn't find him for days. Right. So that's definitely, he may be in a confused state, Arthea, and he lingers there at the property. So he may be lingering there in a state of confusion from the passing. So she hears noises in the building all the time. Yeah, that's kind of a haunting. So that may be in that category there. So all of these states of being, the murder, suicide, the hauntings, divorce, arguing, curses, these hold actually a chaotic energy pattern in the environment. And so what happens is when you take people in there to view the property, even though it's clean, it's painted, it presents well, people and their subconscious can pick up on this negative chaotic energy pattern, and they inherently will not feel comfortable with that property and want to go look at something else. Their subconscious won't allow them to become comfortable or to even form a connection with the property. And so that's why you show it to multiple people, and even though it looks good and maybe the price is great, no one is buying because the subconscious of these people is picking up on either what happened there or just the chaotic energy pattern that was created by what happened there. Now, you can also have positive imprints like attachments to the property. Now, this can be a haunting as well of someone who loved the property, doesn't want to leave, or it can be actually the property itself being attached to the current owner that's wanting to sell and move. So the attachments to the property, you have to figure out, is it your attachment or the property itself that is attached to you? Like, are you the one that's preventing its sale, or is the property the entity that's preventing the sale? And if you want to know more about that after the show, I'll try to remember to put a link to a previous show that we did on do houses have a spirit. So I did a 2-part series on that about do houses have a spirit. And so a property definitely can conglomerate its energies as if it is a spirit and become attached to the person who owns the property. So you have to figure out, is it the property that's attached to you, or are you attached to the property? And so all of these things are situations that create the energy block, or the negative imprint or positive imprint that is blocking people from feeling comfortable enough to purchase the property. So here are the things that we're going to do for this. The first thing that you can do, and this is really, really super important, is to rearrange the furniture or rearrange the things inside the property. And what that does is, if there's an established attachment between the property's spirit and the homeowner, it's going to break up the attachment patterns that have been created. You can also remove things from the property, and that decreases some of the negative collective imprint that's made on the property. So rearrange the furniture, break up the pattern, remove objects from the property. Those are all instrumental in getting rid of what's there, because, and that's especially haunting, because that's one of the biggest reasons why when you go in, you start renovation, you find a lot of increase in activity. And it's because whatever's there, whatever spirit is there at the location, they can sense the energetic structure of the property or the home. And there are many memories, energy memories, that are inlaid into the energy of the property structure. And so what a lot of spirits will do is they will relive memories within the structure. And when you go and alter it, those memories are gone from them, and they actually lose those memories. And they find it harder to exist within a memory, because that's their idea of heaven a lot of times, is existing within that memory. And so when you change or alter the structure, you're taking that memory away. And so that's why a lot of entities will escalate activity when you alter the property. But, in a lot of cases, I will have to explain to an entity at the location that if we didn't alter the structure in this way, you would not have a structure, or it would deteriorate to a point where you would not have any memories to exist within. So it does take some medium interaction and exchange to get or gain cooperation from an entity that is producing a problem with that. So rearranging the furniture and removing objects from the property is number one. Number two is, this is super, super important, especially if you have formed an attachment to the property. And if the property has formed an attachment to you, is to ask and tell the property that you are moving, and you are, in a sense, breaking up with them. Okay, we are no longer in a relationship. You will no longer be attached to me. I will no longer be attached to you. I am moving. This is it. And I will make sure that a new family and a new home is provided to you so that you can be happy. And it's this kind of severing of the emotional attachment between yourself and the home, and the home and you. So, and that has to be emphatic. There can't be any wavering about it. If, the home's spirit senses that your heart is not totally in it, guess what? It's not going to sell. Because I feel like that the energy or spirit within the home will produce an uncomfortable feeling for whoever walks in there, unless it's evaluating, could this be a potential family that I can connect with and become attached to and love and cherish. So that's number 2. Number 3 is really important too, and that needs to be done after you arrange the furniture and remove objects from the home, is to cleanse the property. And it can either be done with, you know, sound or a smudge. Okay, now everybody knows I prefer sound because sound will travel through the walls. Hey to Claudia over here on Instagram, good to see you. And sound travels through walls. You don't have to worry about the crawl spaces, the attic, the basement, the backs of the closets. With a smudge, the smoke can't get back to these areas effectively, and so you're not clearing out all of the stagnant energies that are behind the walls or in the crawl spaces and in the attic that you can't go up in. So sound, I think, does a better job of clearing out everything. So we need to start at point 0 and cleanse the property with sound or smudge after you take the things out or rearrange them. Now, number 4 is where we're going to go to the QR codes. Okay, let me find what I want to put up here. This one is really well known by a lot of people. So you're going to see the QR codes changed up there to the St. Joseph statue and prayers. Now, these are on Amazon. I'm going to switch to another screen that shows you just a second choice there if you want it. And I want you to know that each one of these statues and the instructions that are with it are just a little bit different, but they all will kind of go in the same direction in that you get the statue, you bury it so many feet from the for sale sign. Most instructions will say to bury the statue upside down, and then they give you a prayer that goes with the statue that you kind of incant while you're burying the statue or after you bury the statue. This is another example right here of a different kind of statue. It's still a St. Joseph, but it's got a little bit different instructions than the first one. So don't get so stringent or hung up on specifics of the statue, because they all have the basic same premise. And most all of them will say after you sell the home to dig up the statue and put it in the new home. And then there are some techniques that say to leave the statue there. So it just is, whichever one that you get and whatever the instructions say. Okay. So here's the one, and here's the other one. And one's as good as the other, in my opinion. I don't think that any one is better than the next one. Let me check the chat really quick. Make sure we don't have any questions. So yeah. Let me check for questions here. And then it can't hurt to check the Facebook page because of the non-reliable way that things work. Okay, so far my double check, it seems to be going okay. All right. Okay, let's go back to QR codes because we're going to need them for the next 2 items that we're going to go over. The 5th thing is to get a natural citrine, and you're going to place it in the hearth of the home. Now, a lot of homes, people congregate, and the kitchen was considered the hearth of the home, but that's not necessarily true these days. Kind of pay attention to what is the gathering area that people seem to be attracted to in your home. It may be the living room, especially if the living room has a little bar area where there are drinks and snacks. Hey to Craft India Boutique on Instagram. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So you want to place the citrine in the middle of the hearth area of the home. You can leave it out where people can see it, although I have had some circumstances where the people who were looking at the home were more attracted to the citrine and actually took it. So since that has happened, I have always said maybe secrete the citrine inside of something else, like maybe a little statue or something that you could slip down over the citrine. The energy of the citrine is going to put out a really warm, uplifting, positive, attractive type of energy. Even if you have to cover it, it's still going to radiate out. It's still going to provide that energy. And so when people come into the home and they're evaluating it, they may feel the energy of the citrine kind of overshadow anything negative that may be left in the environment. So you want to get a natural one. This one that I'm showing here on the QR code says natural smoky citrine. It can be smoky or not. It doesn't matter. It's going to give the same type of energies. Now, here's another item that I found, which can act as a decorative agent and still have the energy effects of the citrine. So you're going to have this maybe laying out on the counter, and it does have the citrine crystals in it. That's going to radiate out the energy. The people will feel that. It will give that positive, uplifting kind of draw to it. And so after you sell the house, by all means, take your citrine with you. You can leave it there if you want for the next owner. I mean, that would be such a nice thing for you to do. But these are expensive items, so it's up to you and your conscience whether or not you want to take it or leave it. So I want to take a little break to do a quick shout out to our friends over at Hitched to Homicide. This is a true crime podcast that my friend and her husband do every Wednesday. Just scan the QR code if you want to tune in to it. They are a hilarious team together. They really present the cases with a lot of tact, reverence, but some humor. And it is just a really good kind of take your mind away from mundane things kind of thing to do on when they release on Wednesdays. And they're on all the platforms, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, everything. So check them out and see if you like the podcast. Give it a follow. Maybe tell them that I sent you. Also, I want to do a little shout out for my Oracle cards. And, these are the cards that I made from doing the Fun Friday readings. So if you've not tuned in and you don't know about Fun Friday readings, on Facebook, I do a free reading every Friday. It's posted before 9 a.m. And then the reveal to the reading is posted before 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So you go onto my Facebook page on Friday morning and make your card pick. And if it's been a really bad week, you don't have to pick one card. You can pick them all if you need extra inspiration. And then at 4 p.m., you go back to my Facebook page and you check the reveal and you see what does the card mean for you for the week. And it's just a lot of fun. But if you want some Oracle cards made from the Fun Friday readings, scan the QR code and you can get a deck of the Fun Friday readings. And you can also get a deck of the Tarot to Go. These are really tiny little cards that you can fold in your pocket or your purse. And if you're going out of town and you need to ask a question or whatever, or you just want to take cards so you and your friends can play um, with the cards and do each other's readings and stuff, the tarot to go is really, really handy to have. So let's go back to, um, okay, let's go back to that pyramid. There we go. Oh, actually, let's go back to the chat. Let's see if anybody has any questions. So there, all of the links. Okay, so Tiffany wants to know, would these work for a realtor? Absolutely. And that was on the post. I wanted anybody who's a realtor who has a property that just won't sell, you guys know you got friends that are realtors. Hit the share button and send this video to them because it could really help them out a lot, getting rid of some of these properties that are just dead weight, if you know what I mean. We got one last thing I want to go over, and I hope I put it on my QR codes. Let me see if I did. Nope, I didn't. Okay, I'll have to describe it to you, and you'll have to go on Amazon to find it. I'm sorry I didn't get the QR code loaded up. But number 6 is a red envelope on the inside of the door with a simulated sale paper inside. Okay. So in feng shui and in a lot of Chinese belief, money and successful things come in a red envelope. And so this was a technique that we used not too long ago. And I've used it with 3 different properties. I know 2 of the properties are sold, and the one I have not heard back on, so I don't know if their property sold or not because they didn't follow up with me. But what we do is we take a piece of paper, just a white piece of paper, and you're going to write on it as if it is the sale contract. And you're going to put on there to seller, but leave it blank because we don't know the name of the seller. And you're going to write your name as the seller. And you're going to write the amount of money that you wish to have from it. Now, don't make it an exorbitant amount. We're trying to manifest in a realistic way. So you're going to write on there, the sale amount of what your bottom dollar of what you want. Okay. Don't cut yourself off too short either. So write that on there, put it in the red envelope, and seal it and tape it to the back of the front door because you don't want people to notice it when they come into the home. So when they open the door, they're opening it, and most people won't look at the back of the door. And so tape it on all sides so they won't be tempted to open the envelope. But these red envelopes, are very easily obtainable on Amazon site. And let's see. And, that's something definitely that a realtor could use too. So those are the 6 ways of dealing with these negative imprints or attachments to the property that are very easy to do. They don't cost a whole lot. A raw citrine is a little bit pricey, but like I said, you can take it with you. When you leave the property, you don't have to leave it there. Of course, if you've been waiting for a long time to get rid of a property and you use these techniques and somebody comes in and buys that, I would leave the citrine there for them. I would do it just so that they have that nice, warm, wonderful feeling from the citrine at the property. Now, I promised 2 people I would touch on this a little bit because they were like, we don't want to sell a property. We want to actually buy a property. So I was going to do next week's show on Project Bluebeam, but what I'll do is next week I will do a show on the specifics on how to purchase a property. Okay. But I can tell you the 2 instrumental things if you're wanting to purchase a property and you're looking and things just, it's something wrong with this or that this is not right. First off, you need to look at location, 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 meaning not every location goes with you energetically. There are locations that energetically would be bad for you to move into, and only your subconscious knows this. So, dowsing is a big part of finding that property, and I'll go through the steps on how to pendulum douse for the perfect property. The other thing is manifesting specifics on the property, the type of property that you want. And so next week we'll go over not only dowsing techniques for exactly where you should move, but also step by step manifesting for specifics on exactly what you need. And I'll let you know, don't leave out any specific, because if you do, you'll get everything that you put down on there and you'll be ruining the day that you didn't add everything to the list. Because you may have the perfect property, but it lacks one key element, and that puts everything off. So tune in next week if you want to learn on these techniques for specifically buying a property. And I will go over all of that for you. And do share this video with your realtor friends and let them know about these handy techniques that can be used to sell a property that has just been, a pain in the butt since they got the listing. And no matter what they do, they can't get rid of it. These are easy techniques to use. Share the video with them. Also, tell them about next week's video and let them tune in for that. And until then, I hope you guys have a fabulous week. And kisses from Kentucky. And I'll see you next Monday night. Bye, guys.